You can get the Zapatron in Fortnite and use Thanos Gauntlet and get 100% free wins, and you're also going to get banned. Because today, I'm finally going to be addressing Fortnite's illegal glitches. For example, number 1, banned items. Remember back in Chapter 3, Season 1, so many people were outraged when Epic decided to vault the Scar and the Pump. So naturally, I was shocked when I was contacted by an anonymous player who claimed they had one stored in their tents. They got the Scar and later the Pump, but Epic wasn't too happy about this. You see, some glitches Epic will allow or look the other way, but some of them go too far and break the terms of service and will get you banned. What this person did was he edited the game files to load into an old LTM that still had these items and managed to store them in their tent. Then they could take that tent and enter the normal battle royale modes and bring Scars and Pumps into Chapter 3. So it wasn't a surprise when I found out that this user got caught and banned, just like you will be if you use glitch number 2. Thanos. In Chapter 2, Season 6, Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet was just back in some very weird glitch in creative mode. Now, this was crazy. Every map was plugging in Thanos to draw in new players, but one thing you cannot mess with is bringing back old collab IP. Epic usually has agreements with these brands that these collaborations are going to run for a limited time. So they were very upset when people found a way to glitch Thanos and the Gauntlet into their creative maps. It was impossible to crack down on every single map maker, but it's rumored that the original exploiters who brought it to the creative map had their creator code removed and they were also banned. But what about glitch number 3, going under the map for free wins? Epic nowadays is a bit more lenient than they were back in the day. They didn't really know what to do with these early glitches, so they were a lot stricter. All around the old Fortnite map, there was these little mini buildings that defaults would camp in. But here's the thing, players discovered if you broke the floor of one of them, you could just go under the map and start shooting people. There have been a few ways to go under the Fortnite map throughout its history, and some people would just swim around under there to get some free wins. And Epic does not take kindly when people abuse glitches repeatedly for free wins, which is why they were not a fan of this next glitch, the infinite healing at Slurpy Swamp. So what happened at Slurpy Swamp? When you entered the water, you would get 2 HP per second. And I remember doing a strategy where me and the boys would try to fish as many fish as we could find and stay in Slurpy Swamp to heal the entire game. Now, this was extremely challenging, but we didn't get banned for this, and technically we weren't abusing any exploits. The real exploit was a little different. If you stood in a specific spot, built a wall, and then ran into it, the game would register you entering the swamp over and over again. So it would keep applying the slurp heal effect dozens of times per second. This made it virtually impossible to die to Storm. Thankfully, Epic patched this and gave warnings out to people who were abusing this glitch. And the same thing would happen a few seasons later in Chapter 2. But this time, our boy Muselk flew a little too close to the sun. The 0 point exploit. In Season 5, if you entered the 0 point, you would go through an animation and you'd get your HP and shield fully healed. So naturally, people wanted to build a sky base up to the 0 point and go inside. And then they figured out you could use the Mandalorian mythic to enter over and over again, making it impossible again to die to Storm, even on a 10-tick Storm. But here's one that we for sure know people have been banned for: XP maps. It's kind of the dark underbelly of Fortnite creative. There's a device that grants players XP for playing on your maps. This is great for creators who want to incentivize others to play their map, but unfortunately some people abuse this to make a quick buck. They'll design XP maps with secret ways to redeem way more XP than normal, and then they'll advertise it as an XP hack. You see these maps from time to time, but Epic does not mess around. They ban almost all these maps and remove the creator codes of those responsible. Thankfully, with Creative 2.0, we're seeing these maps less and less, but what about just full-on cheating in Fortnite? That's what happened in Season 7. When creative mode first came out, that's when players could finally fly around in creative mode. But giving players this tool also gave them an unintended exploit. The notorious Fortnite hacker CIA.gov figured out a way to turn on creative edit mode in Battle Royale. You would just be playing your game and then you would see a message that CIA.gov has enabled edit mode. and then he would be flying around and use aimbot to take out the entire lobby. Thankfully, he was eventually caught and banned, but he put on some ridiculous displays. Another famous trick CIA would use was his flying ATK, but that also got removed and we thought it was all fine until it came back. Sway was streaming when he got destroyed by a cheater using a flying truck exploit. For some reason, this is a common trend in other games as well, people flying around with vehicles and destroying players. But thankfully this was patched and cheaters in Fortnite now are kind of rare. But cheaters weren't the only one using flying exploits. Sometimes our favorite Australian YouTubers are also using them. In Chapter 2, Season 1, Laserbeam found a glitch where you could abuse the zip lines to just start flying. You would be on an infinite zip line and you could just stay up there and try to win the game. Now, thankfully, it was pretty hard to get wins with this since you kind of had to rely on the final zones being above the zip line. But usually, Epic does not like when big YouTubers show off glitches like this. So many people end up seeing them and then the lobbies get ruined. So it was really surprising when Laserbeam didn't get banned for the invincibility glitch that he showed off. Yeah, you're completely invincible and literally cannot lose or take any damage. In one of his most popular videos, he showed off a glitch where he was just running around completely untouchable. Now, thankfully, he didn't show how to do the glitch and he didn't use it to get any wins, but this was easily one of the most game-breaking and annoying glitches you could run into at the time. So I know Epic could not have been happy about him showing it to 19 million people. Now that's old news, but this one just happened last month. Epic was banning people for abusing a Discord bot. Basically, the Discord bot would use the game files to queue you into an unreleased LTM, this being the sword fight mode. And in this mode, you were able to do some things you weren't supposed to get XP, like gathering an unlimited amount of slap berries for an XP quest. So some people got to level 600 or more very quickly using this glitch. And the thing is, it's pretty easy for Epic to know which accounts are in LTMs they're not supposed to be in. They ended up giving everyone who abused this glitch a 12-hour ban and some people even longer. And that's not all. Some people were using a Discord bot to get cosmetics that they shouldn't have. There's all sorts of videos of people in Party Royale with the unreleased Brilliant Bomber skin and having the max completed alpha test banner, the rarest cosmetic in Fortnite. But as we all know, it's very easy for Epic to track down these accounts, and everyone who had it had this skin removed off their account, and some of them even got banned for this. I mean, guys, these are paid skins. You can't just get them for free. Next up, we have the famous pickaxing controversy. What if I told you you could get in trouble just for swinging your pickaxe in Fortnite? This issue was ruining competitive Fortnite. After a few years of competitive, players started to catch on. They realized it was always more valuable to make it to endgame than to risk fighting in the early or mid game. And once everyone started to catch on, pros would just agree not to fight each other at all. But they needed a way to communicate in the middle of the match. And the way they did was jumping and swinging their pickaxe as a peace treaty to rotate without shooting each other. To address this, Epic put out a statement that banned communicating with enemies by pickaxing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the Zappatron, if we're going to make a video talking about bannable exploits, we can't leave out the king of Fortnite exploits, Tfue. He was the most notorious, most prolific Fortnite exploiter, especially back in Chapter 1. He would abuse every single bug he could find, crouch peeking, fast farming, trap duplication, destroying all of Tilted. And because of that, he'll always be known as the king of exploits. But now let's go to the Zappatron. So with the release of Creative 2.0, there was finally a way to get the Zappatron, the most legendary OG item in Fortnite. It was only out for a couple of hours back in Chapter 1, Season 1, and it was only in supply drops. It was a complete mistake and was quickly removed. But just a few weeks ago, it was back. Now, I didn't end up covering the method because I didn't want to get in trouble with Epic, but it's fixed now, so let's talk about it. This thing did 500 HP body shot and 1200 damage headshots. It could one-shot anybody. Now, you could only use it with your friends, no public matches, but it was still crazy to see it finally in action all the way in Chapter 4. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Do me a favor and check out this video right here.